Now, before the conclusion of our night, I would like to give a heartfelt welcome to the Vice President of NAMI New Hampshire, so that he can share with you all his personal journey with mental health. Because of this man's work, so much good has been accomplished within our community. So, please give it up for Todd Donovan.
Turn the house lights on. Please. Should have said please. There we go. Now I can see everybody. My name is Todd Donovan, and I'm a lieutenant paramedic with the Dairy Fire Department, and my station is the English Range Road Fire Station, right on the corner of the bypass and English Range Road. And I've been with the Dairy Fire Department for 21 years. And I'm actually going to be on the president of the board for the National Alliance on Mental Illness here in New Hampshire next month. And I was asked to speak a little bit about myself, and I got 5 minutes to tell you my life story. How's that? At the age of 8, I attempted suicide for the first time. I don't know what goes through the mind of an 8-year-old that wants to attempt suicide, but I did. At the age of 14, I attempted again. At the age of 18, I attempted once again and was placed in the hospital, and I have a diagnosis of major depressive disorder with psychotic episodes. And those psychotic episodes is a voice that I hear. I hear a voice when I see my own suicide over and over again. That voice tells me to do it. And it's not my voice, it's a drill sergeant type of voice, and it's in my right ear. And I have been hospitalized 6 times in my life. I have taken 11 different medications over my lifetime. None of them worked. I went through a trial of electroconvulsive therapy in 2008, and that did not work for me at all. But I did find a treatment right here in Derry on Shanita Road at the Center for Life Management called transcranial magnetic stimulation. It's new technology. And basically, it's an MRI-sized magnet that sends an impulse into my prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is where mood is regulated. And after a few sessions of TMS, it's called, I got remission from depression in 2014. I have no voice, I have no suicidal images, and what I have discovered is that I have a chronic illness. I'm the most biologically based depression that my psychiatrist and psychologist has ever seen. I grew up in a loving family. My parents never divorced. They were married for 48 years before they passed away. I've never been abused. I have never had any trauma in my life. And but what I did do is I stuck to it. I stuck to trying to find something that worked for me. There's a lot of us in the room today who are having difficulties. 1 in 5 of us have troubles, mentally challenging troubles. And we saw that with these players here today, which is fantastic. I'm here to tell you that treatment works. It really does. I had a suicide note taped to my locker at the English Range Road Fire Station. And if my mood and a fire or some type of incident would have occurred and it intersected at the same time, I might have died in the line of duty on purpose. And what I want to also tell everybody is that you don't have to suffer. You really don't. There are so many treatments out there for you to take advantage of. Now, I get asked all the time, what's the worst thing you've ever seen? And it's a pretty nominal question, but it's not necessarily what I've seen. It's what I've touched, what I've heard, what I've smelled. All my senses have been assaulted in my job. And it doesn't matter what it is in your life, whatever you have gone through, some type of trauma, something you've seen, heard, smelled, touched. There's neurons in your brain that have indelibly been marked, bruised by that trauma, whatever it is. And when those memories get triggered, those pathways go right through, guess what? The prefrontal cortex. And remember what that is for? That is for where mood is regulated. So it is no wonder why we call it post-traumatic stress injury. It's a literal bruise on your brain. Now, there are people in this world who have helped people like you and me. who help you deal with those traumas. There are psychologists, there are mental health counselors. You need to take advantage of those resources that are out there. There was a time and day when we couldn't talk about breast cancer. I'll never forget that. My mom telling me to just be quiet. Shh, I know our neighbor, just leave it alone. There was a time we couldn't even talk about HIV. And now, I wear pink on Wednesdays in October for Dairy Fire, and I hate pink. I don't know why, but I wear it anyways. And we have fundraisers that we have fundraised for diabetes. We have fundraised for a variety of things, billions of dollars to try to overcome these illnesses. And we're at the ground floor of something really big, where students like this can actually get up here and talk about struggles. Have you ever seen someone have a seizure before? A grand mal seizure, where they have that tonic-clonic movement of their arms, their legs, their face, their eyes will blink. We look at that person and we say, wow, they're having a seizure. We know that their brain is malfunctioning. Something is wrong. Now, it's an electrical problem, but where does that electricity comes from? It comes from a chemical process in the brain. We're not plugged into the wall for 110 and a 110 outlet, and that's where our electricity is generated. No, it's generated from a chemical problem. And when we see someone having a seizure, we never say they committed a seizure. Committed is a legal term. The same thing with someone who attempts suicide or completes a suicide. They didn't commit something. It's actually a symptom of a bigger problem that's going on in the brain. Think about that. It's a sign of something that's going on with the brain. And we need to start thinking about this as more of a health issue than someone who is challenged. Just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I thought that if I pulled myself up by the bootstraps, my depression would go away. I thought that if I went to college, if I got the job, if I became a lieutenant, if I became a paramedic, none of that helped me. But what did help me was finding a treatment that worked, and I did not give up. So I want to just leave you with this. Treatment does work. I'm living proof of that. And I want to thank everybody for coming and watching these young people show their craft. Thank you very much.
Now, before I let Mr. Donovan go, I would like to present him with a check raised by all of you folks. It's a completely legitimate check. And we're going to have more coming in from the online sales, but going to Mr. Todd Donovan, I would like to present him a check for $813 raised by all of you in this room. Thank you all so much. Stick around for bows, and thank you so much, Mr. Donovan.